And welcome to the July 14th, 2026 City Commission meeting. Will you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. On our regular agenda, we consider the minutes of the June 2023 meeting, the June 30th special, June 30th, 2026 special meeting, and the July 10th agenda review. Do I have a motion?
I move that we approve all three.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All that agree, say aye.
Aye.
All that oppose, same sign. Okay, thank you. Next, we'll receive a report on the 2026 Rockets and Rails event from Erin McDaniel.
Thank you, Commissioners. July 3rd feels kind of like it was a long time ago now, but this has been our first meeting, so we wanted to just give you a little recap on this event since it was the first time we've done an event like this. Several of you I know were there in attendance, and so you know that it was a huge success. We have pulled the Placer AI cell phone tracking data, and from that we can estimate that we had about 10,000 people in attendance throughout the park. That includes the attendees of the Mexican-American softball tournament. But we did see a fair amount of people going back and forth between the two events. So that was a tremendous turnout. It was about what we expected, to be honest. But the park was full, but it wasn't too full. We had tried to keep our vendors and participants as local as we could, using Harvey County and Newton vendors as much as possible. And they reported that they had a very successful event. Many of the food vendors completely sold out of food. We had very good coordination with the Mexican-American tournament. From the very beginning in the planning, we tried to coordinate and make sure that we weren't stepping on each other's toes, that we weren't going to negatively affect their event at all. And their board reported that it was a big success for them as well, and they really enjoyed some of the events that we had and the fireworks afterwards, after their game was over. The weather was clear but very hot, and we had some concerns that we might have some heat-related illness issues or that sort of thing, and we didn't. People stayed well hydrated, and we had no emergency incidents or injuries at all throughout the park, which is great for a crowd that size. I want to give a shout out to our city staff who helped with all the coordination and setup of the event, and as well the Newton Recreation Commission staff. They were a tremendous help to us at Fisher Field and did a lot of great work. We had almost exclusively positive response from the community. I mean, just overwhelmingly positive response. Yep. People really loved this event. It was great. As you recall, the bulk of the funding for this event came from Convention and Visitors Bureau funds, and that went toward the fireworks show. The bulk of the rest of the event we were able to pay for primarily through private sponsorships, and so we really want to thank the local businesses that offered their support to put the event on as well. Do you have any questions for me or comments about the event?
Excellent. And what do we do to get it on next year?
Right. I agree.
A lot of people really liked it and said, many said that I talked to and then sat next to, they really liked it and they thought, wow, we could do with just this. And so I thought it was good. So yeah, I'm in favor of that.
Great.
I was sitting with a bunch of kids, including my nieces, and this was their first fireworks show. And I don't know how anything's going to beat it now. Everybody said I think this is the best we've ever seen.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I agree. I think it was an excellent turnout. People had a great time. I know I did. I wasn't out there the whole night, but the time my husband and I were out there, we had a great time. It's like a family reunion, class reunion type thing. You see people you don't normally see, and that's great. So, no, I think we definitely could do that again. It actually kind of reminded me of, like, again, back in the day when I was a kid, and we used to have a fireworks show every year.
Yes.
And how exciting that was. And, I mean, we're created memories. We did. We created memories that day. And so I think we need to continue to do that. Good job, guys.
Yeah, I had lots of positive feedback from all kinds of people that would echo exactly what we're talking about here. So it's really good to hear from our citizens. It's kind of like those warm fuzzies that are coming back.
For real, it was.
Yep, so put it on for next year. We figure it out how we'll do it. And people even said they would be willing to pay for buttons.
Right?
Yeah.
And if they're willing to go to that, you know,
Yeah.
I think that's excellent.
Absolutely.
Well, it's my understanding that we did include the funding for next year in the budget for 2027 in your proposed budget that you're still working to finalize. So
Good.
that's something we can for sure continue. I appreciate the support.
Are there any further questions for Erin?
Nope, I don't have any.
Next, we have a presentation of American 250-yard decorating contest awarded to Ronda and Dawn Gilger of 108 South Main. And Erin, I'll let you take it over.
All right, thank you. So as we were planning the Rockets and Rails event and other associated celebratory things for the America 250 anniversary, a member of the public actually suggested to us that it would be a good idea to do a yard decorating contest for 4th of July and kind of encourage that kind of patriotic yard display. So we thought that was a fun idea. We've obviously done the Yard of the Year award for many, many years here at the city. We thought this might be a fun tie-in to pull people in. And so we took nominations of yards, and the entries were evaluated based on creativity, use of theme, visual impact, and community spirit. And we gave extra points if you included something Newton-related, like trains or a Newton city flag. And after reviewing the properties, the Rockets and Rails Committee selected 108 South Main as the winner, and Ronda and Dawn Gilger were the winners. They have a historic house, 118 years old, I believe, and it really lends itself to that kind of classic Americana look. And they did swags and American flags, and they had a little inflatable tube guy that added something fun to the mix. And so just a really good example of showing that patriotic pride for the 4th. So it was just a fun addition to add. And so I would invite Rhonda to come up. She is here this evening, and I will just present her with her prize and give her the opportunity to say a few words about her home.
Our home, it was built in 1908, and so I think about a long time ago, you know, in its glory days, you know, it was welcoming of people. It boarded people who came from the railroad, and there was a livery stable out back, and for lots of years, you know, we bought it 20 years ago, and we worked on the inside, new wiring, new plumbing, you know, one thing at a time, but we said when we retire, then we're going to work on the outside. Well, you guys had to put up with it for 20 years, looking very plain and just mowed, but how excellent to be. I mean, we chose this. We don't have relatives here. The reason we moved here was because we loved the spirit of the community. And so all the opportunities, we just read about it. What's happening in Newton? Nothing. Everything is bad. That's what you'll read online in some of the sites. And I think, that's not why we moved here. Everything is amazing. I really appreciate the communication. I've had opportunities to work on murals, to get involved in volunteering, in the art walk. I mean, I just love your community, and I've made it mine. And so all the ways that we can kind of invest ourselves back, we hope that we can make it our little house before you get to Maine. We want to welcome people to the city that you guys love so much, that we love now. So thank you for letting us be part of this.
Where did you come from?
We worked with the Salvation Army as officers, so different places in the Western Territory, which is the Western United States. We bought the house when we lived in Colorado Springs. We've served overseas in Moldova and the Ukraine and Georgia. So coming back and retiring, this is, we've lived in lots of big cities, and it all feels very impersonal, but community is so important. People say, why did you move to Newton? And I just say it's a treasure and people don't realize it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We
Thank you.
appreciate
Thank you,
that.
yeah.
Thank you.
Mayor, if you would want to come down, we can get a picture with Rhonda. Perfect. All right. Thank you.
Okay, next on our agenda is consider directing city staff to notify the Harvey County Clerk on the city's intent to exceed the revenue neutral rate for the 2027 budget. Rebecca?
Yes, thank you. So, little bit of background. What is the revenue neutral rate? That would be the tax rate that would generate the same property tax revenue, the same number of dollars that we got in 26 as in 27, using the new assessed valuation. And in the past few years, the assessed valuation has risen. In June, we were notified by the Harvey County Clerk that our revenue neutral rate, that rate that would have that same amount of dollars, would be 69.408 mils. That would be a difference, a reduction of 2.945 mils from the current mill levy of 72,353. And at the June 18th budget work session, you all had instructed staff to prepare the paperwork to notify the Harvey County Clerk of our intent to exceed the revenue neutral rate as the proposed budget is still in discussion. So the action before you tonight would really just reserve the right to exceed that as we are still in our discussions and have not finalized anything. The intent to exceed will set that mill levy at the current 72.353 mils for the 2007 budget. But of course, as you finalize the budget, you could bring that down to whatever number you wanted. There's some more information here about what the limitations are. If you do not notify them as intent to exceed, then we absolutely could not get a single dollar more during the process. And there is a procedure as defined by statute, including the public rate hearing, which we'll do, and then publicly voting on the resolution. You've seen this slide before, and this is that difference. If you were to not exceed the revenue neutral rate, the reduction in the mill levy. So if the city chooses to capture that increase in the valuation or any portion of that increase in any of its funds, then the next action would be to approve the intent to exceed the revenue neutral rate and authorize staff to send that notice to the Harvey County Clerk before July 20th. And I'd stand for any questions.
So you
No
just,
questions, or did you?
you just need, is there a,
We need a motion. Do I have a motion for the intent to exceed?
well, I move that we send the intent to exceed.
Okay.
Do I have a second?
A second.
Okay, a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
All right, thank you.
Next is consider an agreement with Mid-Continent Industries. Chris?
Yeah, I can tee that off. And you're right, it is an agreement with Mid-Continent Industries and the city. I'll give some background on this. This is a little bit different in terms of agreements that we typically do. Back in 1983, the city vacated a platted but unpaved portion of Douglas Drive that's adjacent to Mid-Continent. You can see it there, essentially there in blue, that kind of is a cross between Heartland and Mid-Continent, obviously not to scale. Fast forward to 2025, as you guys recall, we sold certain property to Mid-Continent, the northern portion of what's highlighted there in red. The area of the road, Douglas, that was vacated, during the closing process, there was a question about ownership. It amounted to 0.33 acres, where they couldn't get title insurance to it on the question of whether or not Mid-Continent had disclaimed their property interest in it. So city staff talked to Mid-Continent to try and make it right with Heartland Audio. Mid-Continent proposed and city staff reviewed. They have an entrance drive that comes in off of Southeast 9th. They'd asked if the city could repair that portion. If we have maybe one more slide over. Yeah, it would be that area. So the agreement essentially says that the city would repair that entrance drive, which is essentially that highlighted portion, not the drive that continues to the south. And in turn, Mid-Continent would provide a quitclaim to Heartland AV for that 0.33 acres. So that's the agreement. The city doesn't benefit really much anything other than kind of makes the deal right of what was originally contemplated, just kind of seeing that agreement through. Ed was involved in this. He's looked at it. It can be done internally by staff. We think we can do it in the next few months, but we have until the end of the calendar year contractually. I would stand for any questions. It has already been approved by Mid-Continent. It would just take a motion to approve the attached agreement, but I would stand for any questions on it.
I move that we approve this agreement.
I second.
Okay, got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Next on the agenda is memorandum of understanding between the Office of the State Fire Marshal and Newton Fire/EMS regarding the Kansas Search and Rescue Response System. Chris?
And yeah, I'll tee this up. If Chief is here, he can jump in on the technical side on it, but this is just an MOU, statewide response, essentially for urban search and rescue. It's for large multi-jurisdictional emergencies. These agreements have certain cooperation agreements, mutual aid agreements, and that's just what this is. It sets forth the responsibilities of the Office of the State Fire Marshal, as well as our Fire EMS department. I would point your attention to Section 10, which it's important to have that local response and concerns always have priority. So if there's a staffing issue here locally, that takes precedent over this agreement. And Chief can fill in any of the gaps that I miss, but the State Fire Marshal would like the City Commission to approve this agreement, not just Chief, and that's why it's before you.
Yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. This is actually a renewal of a previously agreed upon MOU from years past. We do have the resources available by the MOU agreement, we would then fall into the category of being a state deployable asset. Our assets would also be deployable statewide, and it all hinges on, hopefully it's not that widespread of a disaster where we're involved as well, so we could lend a hand in other jurisdictions. But
Chief, didn't we at some point in the past, it seems like I remember either hearing that we were doing it or we had done it, was lending boats and some of our people, because we were the only ones really in the area that had the capability, the training.
Correct. We've not only helped our neighbors within Harvey County, most recently we went to southeast Kansas to assist with a rescue down there. We've been to the Houston floods a couple years ago when Texas was just inundated with water. So we have been utilized in this realm. One other important note is that most of the labor hours are reimbursable through declarations of disaster. So
Good work.
Yes, very good.
That just says it lightly, but good work.
Any other comments from the commission? Do I have a motion?
I move that we approve the memorandum of understanding.
Do I have a second?
I second.
A motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Next on our agenda is our citizen forum. Looks like we have a couple on here. Is this Sean Beach?
As parents of small children, we love to see our kids playing outdoors with neighboring kids, riding their bikes, or throwing balls around. However, our neighborhood streets have increasingly become dangerous to our children because of traffic roaring through at 30, sometimes 40 miles an hour. Many of the vehicles driving through are attempting to save a few seconds by using other intersections, or to avoid other intersections such as Kansas Ave and First. However, most of these commuters are not taking into account the neighborhood children that play out on these residential streets, as well as the elderly pedestrians who regularly enjoy walking their dogs or getting exercise outside. We are appealing to the local authorities, City Council, and Transportation Department to take immediate and effective action by posting speed limit signs of 20 miles an hour, as well as children at play signs along our streets. We also would like to ensure compliance by the presence of local law enforcement officers. We should not have to wait until a child gets hit by a speeding car before addressing this issue. Many of our neighborhood communities have already approved 20-mile-an-hour residential speed limits. The fact that our street is an unposted street with no sidewalks, no means for children to be able to, or anybody walking, they have to walk in the street. They have to walk their dogs in the street. And there are cars that regularly speed down my street, and I've seen them on other streets in our community, driving well in excess of what is safe. I struggle with the fact that my street, unposted, is supposed to be 30 miles an hour, but Kansas Ave, the section south of Main, many of the other streets in our community that have posted 30-mile-an-hour limits also have sidewalks down one, if not both sides. It poses a danger. Like, I have a 7-year-old that likes to run across the street to his friend's house, and I can't always be around when they're going back and forth, or there are elderly neighbors of mine, plus there are a number of other families that also like to walk or ride their bikes with their kids, and there are people that like on a street near mine, Southeast 6, there's a dirt section there that my wife caught somebody basically drifting around the corner on. You should not be able to go fast enough to drift on a residential street, dirt or gravel, or dirt or pavement. So I think we need to move towards having, and not just on my street, there's multiple streets that are the same way that are not, they have no businesses on them, they have no, nothing but residences, and there's no sidewalks, and you're free to drive at whatever speed you want. And with it being unposted and not frequently patrolled, that there are people that will go in excess of 40 miles an hour. So,
What is your address?
Yeah.
909 Southeast 5th Street.
909
Thank you.
Southeast Fifth.
I mean, I've spoken with the city engineer. I've been pushing with them and signage and different other, and I felt like I haven't gotten a response, and it's just dangerous.
If I may,
Yeah.
Mr. Beach, the last communication that you've actually
Yes.
emailed me, my name's Danielle.
Okay.
I let you know that the police department, we do have speed trailers that are able to collect data. That data was gathered over the month of June. In July, or late June, it was transferred to our police department and our engineering department. We have civil engineers on staff. They reviewed the data. We're really close in determining whether or not that street should have a change in the miles per hour. We've also reached out to the city of North Newton to determine how they've made adjustments to their from 30 to 20 and their engineering studies. But we're trying to determine if North Newton and our neighbors are changing the speed zones in relation to how we
I
normally.
sent the city engineer multiple pictures of 20-mile-an-hour speed limit signs in North Newton. Whitewater also has 20-mile-an-hour signs.
Sure.
Burton,
Sure.
I believe Halstead.
Sure.
These are all areas that, they've done it. I don't know why we can't just make a change. Yes, I saw the trailer on my street.
Yeah.
And the fact that there was a sign out there during that time posting it at 30, there were people that did slow down.
Sure.
But
Sure.
as soon as it was gone, there are people back going whatever speed they want at times. The other thing, there's a lot of people also that use it as a cut through because of the intersection at First and Kansas Ave is a bottleneck.
Yeah.
So we see more traffic just to avoid that intersection. And there are other intersections around town that people use to avoid other different possible bottlenecks, with traffic. And
Sure.
those people they're just trying to get from one place to another as fast as they possibly can, and it's just not safe.
Hear ya. We, as soon as we have an answer, a good answer for you, and the reason why we haven't given you just one answer is we are reaching out because I'd like to understand if another city is changing it from 30 to 20, what their engineering data is telling them compared to what we're seeing, because we are open to changing it. That being said, our safety consultant that we're currently doing a study with,
Yes.
we've reached out to them to reach out to you, to invite you to our open house that's coming up, to express what you're going through, to see if they could provide us some input, and whether or not you're the only one who is experiencing that same issue. I don't know if you have neighbors, if they'd like to come out, that open house.
I mean, my wife and I were planning on going around to our neighbors to see what their thing is. And we just haven't. You get busy and stuff, you just haven't. But there's one of my neighbors that lives on Southeast 6 that regularly walks her dog.
Okay.
And as far as I know, she was going to call in to the city engineer because, she uses a walker, but she walks everywhere.
Does she?
And
I'd love to, when we have an answer, I'd love to invite you so that you can meet with our staff and talk through it. So it's not, I'll send it to you in an email, and then I'll shoot you an email to meet, so we can meet
Okay.
in person. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you,
Mr. Beach, can I get you to state your name and your address for the record, please?
Sean Beach, address is 909 Southeast 5th.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have Cody Silhan. Did I say it right? Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Good evening.
Can you state your name and your address for the record, please?
Yes, ma'am. I'm Cody Silhan. I live at 1015 East 8th Street. First, I wanted to thank all of you, police department, fire department, thank you guys, and unsung heroes in the community who kind of fight behind the curtain to make this a better community. Thank you. I chose this community kind of similar. It was very quiet. I didn't hear any bad news about it, but I did hear that it was slow, which I like. No new news is good news to me. So a nice, quiet community was kind of what I was looking for. I just kind of wanted to go through the timeline of how I became to know that flock AOPRs were going to be implemented in this community. So I called down to the city and talked to someone down there a couple of times, and they're very helpful. Gave me loads of great information, said to come tonight or perhaps the next meeting, and then give you at least my take on it, which isn't very much. It's definitely not a technical take by any means. And I see that they were implemented before then. Also called down to Adam to get a little bit of information. I absolutely couldn't find anything about this stuff before it was implemented. So I was just kind of 2 points on that. Was that if it's such a good thing for the community, why doesn't the community know about it? And I guess the second point would be if every community around Newton has this, we should feel pretty safe, right? And I was also wondering about the contract itself. Is North Newton helping to pay for some of these cameras? What is the actual contract like? Who do we all share this information with? I know that Heston shares with over 100 different police departments. A couple of them are out of state, and a couple of them don't reciprocate back. So I just wanted to make sure that we're getting a return on investment on this, that there were solid numbers. I noticed that there wasn't, when I did watch the one meeting to where you guys had brought up that you were interested in this kind of thing, only one question was brought up. Was it the Axon body cameras, to which they're not. So I was just really wondering where the majority of this discussion happened to surveil the rest of the community because it wasn't in the public. So I'd like a little bit more information about that, as well as specifics on the contract itself, just to make sure we're getting good return for investment for the community and that you guys are properly educated on who Flock is and what they've done in the past. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much
Very
for your
good
time.
questions. Thank you. Okay, that's all we have for our citizen forum tonight. We'll just go around the table here and Kathy, do you have anything you need?
I just want to give another shout out for the 4th celebration. That was the event for 4th of July for me. I appreciated it. It was just what I believe 4th of July should be. So I was really thankful for that. And to staff, everybody that was involved in that. A lot of that goes on behind the scenes. Everybody watching. I observed people just walking around really leisurely, just looking like they were having a good time, just relaxed. It was wonderful. So a big thank you.
I would second what Kathy said, and what was special about it to me was watching my nieces and lots of kids playing in this very safe, calm space, and seeing families together. That's when I talk to people in Newton, that's what they want more of, our community events, community spaces, places to hang out. So it was a really great, well done.
Yes, very well done. I just wanted to reiterate to Cody that if you have any more concerns or questions or that you would like to address about that, feel free to contact Chief of Police, Craig Dunleavy, or our city manager, Daniela, and to get some answers to your questions there. And then also, again, I want to say that this whole event just, I mean, took my breath away and just really gave me a sense of our community and family and how close-knit we are. And I just, yeah, I think we made excellent memories for people. So we're going to keep doing that. Leroy?
Yeah, I would second, third, fourth, and fifth, what was said about that. The other thing about, I think a lot of us who choose a community like Newton, you know, we live here, we don't live in Dallas, we don't live in Oklahoma City, we don't live in Wichita, but we want that feeling of we're included in this. It's a certain personality, it's a certain flavor that we have here. And when we do events like this, you know, just like the Taste of Newton and other events, it brings everybody together, and it's just like, you know, people like that when they recognize each other. You chat and you visit and you kind of catch up, and everybody's smiling. It's a good feeling. That's it.
Okay. All right, well, it's 7:35, and I call this meeting adjourned.